We are 1,900 miles into our circumnavigation of the British Isles, but still have 500 miles left to go. We're now outside of the summer sailing season, and making progress is a game of patience and taking weather windows when they arise.
In this episode, we sailed 281 miles down the Irish Sea, from the Isle of Man to the stunning Isles of Scilly, dodging a severe gale along the way.
We have sailed over 50,000 miles on our 37-foot sailboat Florence, seeking out stunning tropical locations around the world. Now we are looking for something different, sailing north to explore the spectacular scenery and wildlife in colder waters. We are Matt and Amy, and this is Sailing Around Britain.
The weather and the season is changing. It's feeling a lot more autumnal, and these northerly winds that we've got that helped us down the Irish Sea here to the Isle of Man are going to continue for a little while, and we were hoping to use them to go and stop in Dublin. But a couple of things. One, those winds then are looking to be very strong coming up in a couple of days' time, and also we tried to book the marina in central Dublin and that was full. So when we started thinking about getting a marina further out, and then we were looking at the weather forecast and thinking we're probably only really going to stop there for 24 hours, we kind of came to the conclusion that it makes a lot more sense just to skip Dublin and sail further south, use the moderate northerlies to get down to the south coast of Wales, where we can then take shelter from the stronger winds that are coming, and then hopefully there is a small weather window coming a little bit later on which will allow us to get from southern Wales around Land's End and back onto the south coast of the UK. But that weather window is quite small, so by getting down close as we can further south to South Wales gives us a better chance of actually making it around Land's End in that weather window.
We can only leave Peel Harbour 2 hours either side of high tide, when there's enough water for the sill to be lowered and for us to pass over the shallows in the outer harbour. So that's why we're leaving in the evening. Leaving the Isle of Man and heading to Wales. It's a shame to leave so soon. It would have been nice to have at least another day in Peel, but it's going to be good to make some progress down the Irish Sea. We haven't actually decided which anchorage that we're aiming for as of yet. It's going to depend on how much progress we make and how close to sunset it is tomorrow. So it's anywhere between sort of 140 to 166 miles dependent on where we stop tomorrow. There. Quite a bit more. Good. Once we get past the Isle of Man, we're going to be running dead downwind. We've actually set the pole early because we're about to head into our night watches and it takes 2 of us to set the pole. But now I can go to bed and Matt doesn't have to wake me up in about half an hour's time to help him set the pole so we can run downwind. Shoved a couple of pizzas in the oven before we left and made up some salad so we can both snack on that during our watches as well. So yeah, not even any washing up or dinner to be made this evening. Very smooth sailing. Well, it was smooth sailing, but typically just after I'd said that, the wind picked up.
Might just be it puffed up a little bit as we're passing the end of the Isle of Man, just accelerating the wind around the tip of it.
Night.
Night. Sleep well.
Yeah, hope you have a good watch.
Thankfully, the breeze did calm down once we cleared the Isle of Man, and we made sure to pass well offshore of Anglesey during the night and the shipping separation scheme there.
Bit of a chilly morning, so porridge for breakfast. It's quite grey outside. It's quite chilly during the night, so we need something to warm us up. Something that's easy to make when the boat's rolling around a bit. How was your watch? Did you get sunrise this morning?
No sunrise, no, just a bit grey.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Porridge with cinnamon and honey.
It's warm. Lovely, thank you.
Just passing Cardigan Bay in Wales. Absolutely beautiful sailing out here now, really. It's been an absolutely gorgeous day all day today. Perfect sailing, just reaching down the Irish Sea in this gentle, easy sea state, 12 knots of wind, full sail. It's beautiful, even got blue skies and a bit of sun. We're just passing St David's Head on our port side now, and then we're going to bear off around to Milford Haven. Managed to download a forecast once we got in range of some phone reception, and it does look like the wind's going to pick up from the southwest later on tomorrow, so we wouldn't have actually be able to get round Land's End without beating into what looks like being a force 6, and it would be wind against tide by the time we got there as well. So that sounds like a bit of a nightmare. So we're going to go ahead and pull into Milford Haven here, stop, and then hopefully in a couple of days' time there's a little window that we can get further south and round Land's End, hopefully in some more beautiful conditions like this. It's just reminded me why I love sailing this boat out on the ocean. Okay, we're not on the ocean, we're in the Irish Sea, which probably makes it a bit nicer because the waves are smaller, but it's just been a beautiful day. But it's definitely autumnal, it's really chilly. I've got like 4 jumpers on, but that's okay.
The wind died just as we arrived in the entrance to Milford Haven, and we motored the last 2 miles into Dale Bay, where we dropped anchor just after sunset.
There is a big tidal range here in Milford Haven, and the beach at Dale is very gently shelving. That meant we had to anchor Florence a long way offshore so she wouldn't touch the bottom at low tide. But on the plus side, there is a pontoon here, so we don't have to carry the dinghy a long way up the beach.
The coast of Wales is home to many stunning beaches. Sadly, as the season is rolling on, this will be our only stop in Wales, as we shelter here, waiting for a weather window to sail on. Milford Haven has a close association with ships and the sea. It's a superb natural deep water port and is one of the UK's largest energy ports. Over a third of the UK's liquid fuels come in through here.
It is a beautiful day today. We've just walked up to the headland at the entrance to Milford Haven, and out to sea there's just a very gentle breeze, which you would think would be ideal for us to sail on to Land's End in. But unfortunately it's going to be pretty short-lived, and tonight we've got some really strong winds coming from the south, so the opposite direction to what we want to go, up to 50 knot gusts. So instead we're going to go and head a bit further up Milford Haven to try and find some shelter to weather that out. And unfortunately, looking ahead on the forecast, it's really changeable. It keeps switching around, really big winds gusting over 30 knots for most of it. There isn't really an ideal opportunity to sail round Land's End in comfort coming anytime soon.
couple of days later, the weather deteriorated even more. With 60-knot gusts forecast in the Irish Sea, we were happy to be able to take shelter inside the nearby Milford Haven marina. We made use of the time to do the shopping and laundry so that we'd be ready to sail on once it had blown through. The weather's cleared and we're heading out of Milford Haven. We're just passing St Anne's Head, where we had a walk along the cliff tops the other day. It's a beautiful day today and we've got a perfect weather window for sailing on. We're actually heading to the Isles of Scilly, which is 120 miles, should take us just less than a day, so about 20 hours, and downwind most of the way.
Well, it seems like we picked a beautiful weather window so far to sail down to the Scillies. Absolutely gorgeous all day. We're trucking along beautifully. Waves aren't too big enough to just help us along our way without throwing us around too much. And plenty of breeze, but not too much. Perfect, really. In fact, too perfect. We're actually going to get there a little bit too early at the moment. It's like we're going to arrive before dawn, so we might just have to slow down a little bit when we get closer. But yeah, beautiful day for a sail.
Before our stop in Milford Haven, the weather didn't look like it would allow us to stop in the Isles of Scilly. Thankfully, that has now changed, with 2 days of light winds forecast before the wind changes to be favourable for sailing on to the mainland.
We furled away the Genoa in the night to slow down and time our arrival for daylight. And as the sun rose, we had the magnificent sight of the Isles of Scilly appearing in front of us. As we sailed into the narrow, protected anchorage at Tresco, the wind and waves died to leave us with a serene, early morning calm.
This is one of the more popular islands to visit on the Isles of Scilly, but today it's incredibly peaceful. I think that's partly because we're between two patches of bad weather, and also partly because it's coming to the end of the season. A lot of the places are actually now closed for the season. Normally I think that this bay, every single mooring is taken at the height of summer, but today it's just us and one other sailing yacht who actually came in just after us and had also sailed from Milford Haven.
The island of Tresco is privately owned and known for its gardens.
The Isles of Scilly are known for their beaches. This is a subtropical part of the UK.
This is only the second time that we've ever been to the Isles of Scilly. The first time was on the way back from our round the world trip, and we managed to stop in for 4 days then. And this time it looks like we're going to be able to spend 2 days enjoying here. But we've come to a different island this time, and it is significantly different. Last time we went to St Agnes to the south, and this time we've come to Tresco. And wandering around here, it actually feels much more like a holiday village. It's very manicured, it's beautiful, there's beautiful gardens, but it feels much more manicured, whereas St Agnes felt much more local vibe.
Our plans are, as ever, driven by the weather. We feel very lucky to have had the opportunity to stop here, and with such good weather so late in the season. The northeasterly winds that blew us here from Wales are obeying the forecast and shifting to come from the south, a good angle for us to sail on to the mainland. So after a blissful 2 days here, we'll be up early in the morning to sail on.
Next time we have a lot of dawn departures as we work the tides to hop our way along some favourite anchorages on the south coast.
For extra updates in between these bi-weekly videos, and to find out what we're up to in real time, head over to Patreon and join the crew. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the next episode here on YouTube.
Continuing our voyage on Florence would not be possible without the support of our patrons. Thank you to all of you, and especially to our star patrons.